Halo?
Halo? Ya,
Ya,
who's this?
baru suaranya kedengaran. Tadi nggak
Okay.
kedengaran, Bunda.
Okay, thank you.
Ya. Oke, ma'am.
Okay, we will wait for another participants. Maybe we will start at 2:40 p.m. We're really sorry about the connection here because of the room opened too late. 3 minutes again, we will start our session. Okay, it's 2:40 p.m. already. We want to start our second session. And here is the second session of SEAMEO School Hub online training with TK Bawanasari. We have our theme, Disaster Risk Reduction School. Okay, the second session we will talking about the earthquake disaster risk reduction in school. So, what is disaster risk and what is a disaster? First, disaster risk is possibility of impact that will be caused by various factors. In this disaster risk, it not happened yet or has not happened, and we will call it disaster risk management. And disaster itself, events that occur are caused by a natural process or human activities. In this disaster, it's already occurred, and it will call disaster management. So, each event is a disaster when there are earthquake or maybe another events. It will call disaster if the United Nations said that it will cause a disaster if the communities affected by disaster cannot cope with their own resource capabilities. So when they can't cope with their own resource capabilities, it will increase the status into disaster. And Indonesia have another rule or a law. How is disaster? How we will call disaster? What if? If there is a human fatalities, if there are property losses, if there is environmental damage, and if there is a psychosocial impact. So, if there is no human fatalities, or no property losses, or no environmental damage or psychosocial impact, we can't call it as a disaster. Like this, it's not a disaster if there is an earthquake but does not cause any casualties, injury, damage to building, disruption of livelihoods in the community. So it's not a disaster. We can't call it as a disaster. Okay. And it's what is danger, risk, and disaster? So, if there is a danger and a vulnerability, and it will be a disaster risk, and there is a trigger to make it to be a disaster, but it will be a disaster based on the capacity. So if there is low capacity and we have a trigger, there is a danger, it will have a possibility to be a disaster. And here is high risk and low risk. If there is a threat and the community have low capacity, so the risk will be higher. But when there is a threat and the community have a high capacity, it will be lower risk exposure. What is low capacity? And what is high capacity that we called here, that we mentioned here? The low capacity will be the environment is not accessible. And we or you do not know how to save yourself and evacuate yourself during or after the disaster occurs. And the early warning information does not reach all levels of society. Or there are no evacuation sites, or evacuation site is not reached by the community that in the low capacity. And the community never conduct evacuation simulation regularly. This is that we want to do later. And the second is high capacity. What is high capacity? There is a standby bag. We prepare a bag that we will fill it with something that we needed. The second, there are skill and knowledge. We have knowledge about the disaster, we have knowledge about the event, we have knowledge about the earthquake. What is the earthquake and how we save during the earthquake? The skill needed here to be a high capacity community. And the third, accessible building. What is accessible building here? Accessible building here is the building can access by all people, which is it's a complete people like us or people with a disability. All people access the building. And the third, there are maps of evacuation routes and safe locations. So we have prepared a map of the evacuation route and we have prepared a safe location to us. And the last is active involvement or participation. Here is what we want to do. Active involvement doing conduct evacuation simulations regularly, especially in our school. Or if you have community, you're not in a school area or not in a school environment, you can have or conduct an evacuation simulation regularly, have a cooperation with people around you. Here is, we say that people high capacity and low capacity. The low capacity have a higher risk and the high capacity have a lower risk. And can you tell me which picture that have a higher risk, the left or the right? I'll give you a time to think. 10 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds. And the answer is the higher risk is in the right. Why? When we see the building is accessible for a person who is using a wheelchair, but the person around him is just watching. So it's about the skill of the person there, the knowledge of the person's offer there is not enough. But when we see in the left picture, although the picture doesn't have a way for people with a wheelchair or people that blind, but the people around them are helping them to have a safe evacuation. So the left side is lower risk than the right side. Here it is. The disaster risk reduction is we increase our capacity so we can reduce the risk. Okay, we increase the capacity and we will reduce the risk of the disaster. And then we know prevention, we know mitigation, but what is the equation or the difference between two? Okay, the equation is both of it, prevention and mitigation, aims to reduce the disaster risk, and both of it focus on the threats. What is the difference? The difference, prevention is focused on eliminating. In the prevention, everyone will focus on eliminating the disaster risk. What about the mitigation? The mitigation more focused on reducing the scale and magnitude of the intensity of the threats. And we will here talking about the earthquake safety message and procedure. We know that in Indonesia or in Southeast Asia, a lot of countries that are hit by earthquake. And how is the method and the procedure being safe during the earthquake? We have data. Since I'm an Indonesian, we have data in Indonesia that 30 provinces have high risk and 3 provinces are at moderate risk. And of the 30 provinces, BNPB has designated 136 districts or cities that are the priority target of intervention for the period 2015 until 2019. That is the policy and the strategy. And this is some data in Indonesia about the earthquake impact on the school. And the first we want to talking about 2004. This is a big event of the nature. We have earthquake and tsunami in Aceh. It's not just in Aceh. It's a heated country that facing the ocean. And in Aceh itself, more than 230,000 people killed, and we have more than 2,000 schools is destroyed. In 2006, we still remember in Yogyakarta there is earthquake that causes 6,200 fatalities and more than 2,900 schools are collapsed during the earthquake. And now in 2009 there is 3 earthquakes that occur in this year. The first is the earthquake in Padang. The earthquake causes more than 1,200 fatalities, and it caused more than 2,800 schools was affected, with more than 40% severely damaged. The second, the earthquake and tsunami at Mentawai. We know that there is 400 fatalities and 7 schools was heavily damaged. And the last earthquake that hit in 2009 is in West Java. 79 fatalities and 2,091 schools building was heavily damaged with 35 schools totally damaged. And we moved in 2013. Okay, in 2013, the earthquake hit Aceh Tengah, which is 540 schools broke or damaged. And from 2004 until 2014, it was 10 years, we have a secondary school that lightly damaged. We can count it as 82,892 schools. And the heavily damaged is 42,428 schools. And for the primary school, the lightly damaged hit 182,500 schools, and the heavily damaged hit 110,598 schools. So that's a lot of schools that damaged by this earthquake. So what should we do when earthquake occurs? First, we need to drop on our knees. And the second, we need to cover our head. If we see there is a table that we can in there under the table, we can protect ourselves under the table. We need to hang on there under the table while hanging on the chair or on the table itself, so that when the table are moving, we are still under the table, not the table are leaving us without any protection in our body. We don't want it to happen. So the three things that we need to do during the earthquake is drop, cover, and hang on. We need to remember it. And what about for the people with disabilities? People with disabilities. Okay, I got a low connection. For people with disabilities, just okay, I'm sorry for the bad connection. I'll come back here. We will continue. Okay, we'll continue. Here it is. What about for people with disabilities, like people using a wheelchair? When people with disabilities are on the bed and on the wheelchair without assistance, they need to protect themselves, especially protect the head. What about with assistance? The assistants are hiding or cover herself or himself under the table while she is hanging on the table and on the wheelchair, so that the wheelchair doesn't move and the table doesn't move too. And here it is 10 safety advice during the earthquake. Number 1, like we have already talking before, drop, cover and hold on during the earthquake. This is in the class situation. In the class there is a lot of table, especially in the primary school or higher. They have a high table that we can hide under. We can cover ourselves with table. Although under the table we still need to cover ourselves with hand or with a bag or with book, anything that we can cover ourselves, especially our head. And the second, when an earthquake occurs, do not panic and out the class or out the house or out the room in a hurry. It's really dangerous. Remember, when an earthquake occurs, please do the 3. Drop on your knees, protect your head or cover your head, and hold on. 3. When or after an earthquake occurs, stay away from weak wall or the wall that aren't strong. Or when you can't or you didn't know how strong are the wall, don't stay near the wall. We don't know when the wall are hit by the earthquake. Maybe it's already weak and just waiting for the collapse. The next, when or after an earthquake occurs, turn off the stove or fire as soon as possible and make sure it's completely extinguished. You need to make it sure that the fire completely extinguished. The 5th is when or after an earthquake occurs, protect yourself from glass or other dangerous objects. So when you run out from the room or when you are using your shoes, don't take it off. Wear it, because there is a possibility that there is a broken glass from window and from the goods into your house or in your school, and maybe there is another dangerous object like nails and other that falling down from the place, and it maybe can make you have a wound, injury yourself. So you need to protect yourself, to still wear the shoes or maybe sandals or others safety goods, and don't leave it. When you are getting up from the room, still use your shoes and still protect your head. We can't say, the earthquake has stopped, that's okay, we're not protecting the head while we go up. No, we don't know what happened with something above us. So still protect your head when you were going out from the room or going out from the class or from the house or from the office or from everywhere. Still protect your head with everything that you have, with your bag, with your book, with your pillow, maybe your blanket or something that in your hand. Or even you can protect with your hand if you didn't have anything in your hand. Okay, the number 6. Before the earthquake occurred, we need to watch the baby's safety. We need to watch the safety of the person that have a disabilities, and we need to watch the safety of old people with safe space. So here, if you have cupboard, you need to make it sure that if the earthquake are occurred, the cupboard didn't fall, and when it fall, someone is under it or someone is hit it by the cupboard. We don't want it. Okay, so place the bed away from the cupboard, or we can if we have a great wall, I mean a very very strong wall, we can make the cupboard, we give us something like what we call, so that the cupboard doesn't fall, like a steel that joining the cupboard with the wall. But remember, you must really sure that the wall are really 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 strong. Okay. And the 7, before the earthquake occurred, get a meeting to discuss what and which must be done when passing the emergency stage. So here it is, we are discussing about the road that for us to saving ourselves, and where is the assembly point. The assembly point is the safest place in the entire place around us. In earthquake, we can't search a place that didn't have a lot of trees, didn't cover with a building, so it's an open space that we will save when we are in there. Okay, so the next is when we have make the place as in our assemble point. So we house or
emergency needs in the standby beds. Everything that needs is light and water and food. This is the food like you want to something like a dry food, like a cereal and other that we can eat in the emergency. The next is when it's time of what we call an emergency bag. That's everything that you need in the emergency states. A blanket, one pieces of clothes maybe, and we need a jacket or maybe mask. Just put it in there, and copies of documents, an important documents. Don't forget about it. And when it's another two, like if a helmet here, we not need to put it in the bag. It will be a big bag if we want to get the helmet in there. Like sleeping bag, you can use it too. Then you use a blanket and place this emergency bag or standby bag. This emergency bag is placed into the place that we can reach fast, we can grab fast when the earthquake occurs. We need a whistle too. The whistle is used if we are in the place and the people looking for us, if our house collapsed and we can reach the back and we didn't have any energy anymore and the people are looking for us, they are screaming our name, calling our name, and we can't shout it that I'm here. This whistle are really used. We can blow the whistle so people know that where we are. And number 9, before the earthquake happens, make sure that the road is out or obstacle-free barrier. So like I said before, the roads are safe from the classroom until the assembly point, or from the house until the assembly point, or from the room in the office until the assembly point. It needs to we need to make it sure that the road is safe or out or obstacle free from barrier. And last is after the earthquake, a lot of news, a lot of issues that we hear. So don't let the information that doesn't make us panic. So we need to search about the source. Did the source is really valid? Did this news are really the right news? Or it's just a hoax? It just want to make us panic. don't follow the wrong news. So make sure that you have a channel for the right news, for the earthquake information. I think in each country that always hit by earthquake, we have a special line for the earthquake news and for the disaster. And this is the end of the presentation of our second session. And I'm really sorry about the connection, because the connection in my place and the connection of the SEAMEO literally have a little bit problem, so we are sorry about it. If you have any questions, you can type your question in the chat box. And I really appreciate for everybody who sent me the feedback, okay, who sent me the feedback that from the last session you need to fulfill about the threatening disaster form. I really thank you for it. Some people are sent to me, but I'm really sorry I'm not yet to reply every email that getting. If there is no question, so I will send you this material later, like the last material, and which one again, one form, but you not need to do that as soon as possible. I will explain it later. Just read it, and if you have if you can fulfill filling the form, you can try to fill the form. That's okay. I will send it to you. The form are about a planning to make a simulation in our school. So with the first form that you have sent to me, and this is the second form, these two forms we will use as a base for us to make a plan, to make what we call like a simulation based on the disaster that most threatening your place or our school. In my place, there is a volcano eruption that's really threatening that place, and some people are sending me is earthquake that most threatens the place. So you can make a plan with the most threatening event of the disaster that occur in your place. So if there is no question, I will close the session, and maybe tonight or tomorrow I will send the material and the form to everybody. And thank you very much for joining. See you in the next Monday. Don't forget, we still have two next session. It's in Monday and in Thursday. It's in 3 September if I'm not wrong, and it's in 6th September of 2018. So thank you everybody, and see you in the next Monday. Thank you. Menyebut. Why you can record it after 2 hours? Tadi mana sih?
See you, ma'am.
See you. See you next Monday.
Yes, I'm from South Sulawesi.
Wow, it's far away from mine.
Yes, that's far. See you.
Okay. Let's start.